Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's the Mac, and welcome back to Wargame Design Studios Napoleonic Battles Republican Bayonets on the Rhine. So I've just made a introductory video about this great game, and we're gonna pick a battle. I've been got some feedback on the channel, and I've been thinking a lot myself what to pick, and it was pretty hard. I could say that right off the bat, what to choose here, because I had some not rules, but I had some preferences. I really want to play the French since this is the rise of France, and this is the precursor to the great Napoleon Bonaparte. So I wanted to see how the French evolve and what their units are, and sort of explore how they fight and how they were successful. So, wow. Okay, so being sort of kind of deep diving into the history here and having a look, and there's a lot to keep track of in this time period. I think I sort of scratched the surface on that in the first part of the video. It's still kind of mind-boggling for me what exactly went down during this time period. So for you guys who are historians and know this history very well, you would probably hear me say a couple of mistakes because it's very hard to keep track of it. I'm not a historian scholar. I do have a huge history interest, but not, I mean, the Napoleonic Wars is sort of kind of new to me. So I haven't really, become an expert on the subject yet. Right, so picking a battle, right? So I've had more of a grasp of what actually is portrayed in this game. So it's largely focuses on the first and second coalition. And by saying that, that is the coalition of forces or countries or empires that's wanted to crush France, the Republic of France, after they overthrew the monarchy and the revolution and so forth. So there's lots of allegiance in this. So as I said at the start of this video, I really want to play the French, and I'm not going to do a head-to-head battle actually on this Let's Play. I'm going to do one versus the AI because I want to see how much improved the AI, because apparently there's been quite a lot of work on the AI in these games. So I want to explore how tough of an opponent it's going to be, and I think it's going to be pretty tough for me since I'm pretty inexperienced in the Napoleonic warfare. So this is going to be an exploration of units and tactics and stuff. If you're watching this and hope for like a fast Let's Play, I would advise you to look no further. Well, it might be fast at some point, but I'll do my best to sort of speed it up and try to make a good flow of it. But it's going to be a learning experience for me as well. So thank God there are some really good documentations, as I showcased in the introductory video, that actually comes with the game, with historical facts and historical reviews of battles. Now, of course, there's a lot to be found in literature and the internet and YouTube and whatnot about particular battles and stuff. But diving too deep gets sort of mind-boggling. So I want to sort of try to keep it simple. I'm going to try and sort of recreate historical moves as the best of my ability, and sometimes I'm probably going to do some own tacticals, tactical moves that might not have been historically correct, but this is what these games are all about, is to explore tactics and probabilities. So the title starts off with these two famous battles, the Battle of Valmy and Jemappes. So these two were like the first major huge sort of engagements of the first coalition and the response to France as they sort of went into a revolutionary mode. Unfortunately, they are, the solo version is meant to be played as the allied player, and I don't really want to play the allied player. I want to play the French. So what I did was I just went down the list, and sort of the first major battle that was sort of meant to be played as the French, I was probably wanted to try out on the channel. Now, of course, they range a lot in turns, but I think that maybe a battle that's between 30 and 40 turns might not actually be as time consuming as it's portrayed at first glance, because there's going to be a lot of movements and stuff, and lots of turns are going to be spent, setting up your forces, moving into formations, and think out the tactics and stuff. You don't want to bum rush your forces into combat. You probably would be destroyed, I would imagine. So you want to make a good tactical solid plan and move out. So the Battle of Valmy was basically not a real fight. It was the clash of two armies, and it was more of a cannon duel. There was a lot of cannon fire and stuff, and the Prussians sort of made a half-hearted attack towards the French positions, but started to take heavy casualties of the cannons. The French artillery was actually very good at the time. They had some of the best artillery in the era at this certain time. So they sort of outclassed the Prussian ones, and so they sort of pulled back. They never really committed the full army to fight at Valmy, and the French were quite numerous as well. We can have a look at, so this is that comes with the game, the Battles of Republican Bayonets of the Rhine. So they have the list of battles. So Valmy and Jemappes are represented in 1792 there, right at the start. It would have been fun to play something actually that was really, really early, because since this game is actually portraying the very early engagements of this conflict. So there's no solo version of Valmy for the French player. Jemappes, there's not a French solo version as well. It's the Allied player versus the AI and Allied player. So the Battle of Jemappes, the French won, and this sort of stopped the coalition dead in its tracks, and they sort of pulled out of France after that. And then there was a lull in the fighting, and things went down. And then you have 1793, and this is when I think the French went on the offensive to try to capitalize on this, but they failed. I mean, they lost a few of these battles. It was sort of back and forth here, and they never really made. There were victories on both sides, basically, all the way up to. This was the War of the Second Coalition was sort of the final showdown where France really solidified their victory. Some people claim, I mean, they sort of won a tactical victory of the First Coalition as well. So the French has sort of been, the main French has been sort of, they were defeated in the whole of the thing, but they lost individual battles, of course, and stuff. But they, tactical. You would say a tactical victory, and here was an all-out victory with lots of peace being. They signed the coalition of peace for the belligerents there, as we also have the famous. By the way, none of those famous battles of Napoleon is actually portrayed in this game. They are going to be coming in the next installment called Marengo, and that's where we're going to be starting to follow some of the first of Napoleon's famous victories. So these are all other commanders and attacks across the Rhine, basically, and into these sort of southern Germany these days. It was actually called the Holy Roman Empire at the time. And then you have the Austrians, of course, and the British were sort of the ones that went, that was fighting France throughout the whole war, basically. And Spain was in there for some, but they pulled out. Russia was involved and sent troops down. That was a disaster, and so forth. So there was also British were involved. They sent forces to sort of modern day Netherlands. They were quite successful in the start, but they were utterly stopped by. Finally, they were stopped by the French and the revolutionary Netherlands army. I don't know what they're called, but they were sort of allies with France at the time. So there's so much to keep track of now. So I'm not going to dive too deep in it because I'm probably just going to, say the wrong things. I just know the broad strokes. So Neerwinden is also an allied game, but they do have a small 12-turn snippet of this battle that is the French. You get to play the French, and it's actually just a battle of the village of Neerwinden, like a small skirmish fight because apparently this village was swapping hands back and forth from different assaults, and here you get to play one of the French assaults on the village and see if you can pull it off. But I thought 12 turns was kind of a small battle. I want to play something bigger. Then you have Primasens. This is actually something I was considering because this is also a solo as French versus the AI. This is kind of an interesting battle. The French lost this battle. They were actually sort of not really ambushed, but they attacked the Prussian sort of defensive area, and they sort of punched in there, but they were sort of flanked by a lot of artillery fire and was basically shot to pieces. They took heavy casualties. I think over 4,000 were killed. About a third of the army that was advancing was destroyed in this engagement, and had to pull back. So it could be fun to play this and try to pull it off as the French. I've been considering that. And then you have something called Kaiserlautern. This is a major engagement. It was, I think it was a 2-day battle. And I was kind of thinking about this. This is because I want to try something early. So you have the solo as the French versus the AI. It's 48 turns, but it would be fun to do it because it's kind of an interesting battle. If you go to, so you have Kaiserlautern here. So their forces were 34,000 French and 26,000 allies. So the 28th of November, the French decided to attack the Prussian-Saxon army located west of Mannheim, commanded by the Duke of Brunswick. Brunswick was operating with the Austrians and had his divisions spread out in cordon-type defense in the heavily wooded region north and south of Kaiserlautern, which lies along the main Saarbrücken-Mannheim highway. The French general Hoch devised a plan typical of the era where he would split his army up into 3 columns. The right wing, which consisted of Taponier's division, would strike Brunswick's forces west of Kaiserlautern. So I think this is Kaiserlautern here, somewhere there maybe. So that would be that force advancing here. Where was I? The right wing consisted of Taponier's division would strike Brunswick's forces west of Kaiserslautern, while Amber's division far to the north would cross the Laue River near Hirschenhorn and move south to Katzieler and attack the Prussian right flank. Finally, Hoch would command the center and lead his troops to strike the hinge of the Prussian-Saxon position at Otterbach. It was a poorly devised plan, not taking into account the fact that the center would have to traverse an almost impassable forest using minor roads. The first days of action saw Taponier's gamely drive the Prussians under Weimar back on Kaiserlautern, but the stout defenders on the Galgenberg hill helped to stop their momentum. Ambert would eventually cross the Lau and engage Kalkenkreuz's division near Otterbach. Ambert was heavily outnumbered, as more Prussians as well as Saxon divisions were present. The center under Hoch encountered the impassable woods and had a detour around and never did become engaged. Okay, so that could be an interesting fight, man. So it says continued here. So this would be day 1, and day 2 would be, is it the same? No, yeah, 29th of November. So the second day of the battle found the French army massed to cross the river. So it must be over here, I would imagine. In the center, while Ambert sought to turn the Allied right flank. So this would be the right flank of the Allies, I would imagine. Taponier's division was to make an attack towards Kaiserlautern to tie down the forces in that sector. So they will continue the fight there. Hoch sent up 2 batteries and was able to cross the Otterbach. Ambert's attack on the Saxons was not successful. The Saxon cavalry successfully repelled the French cavalry and the attack was brought to a standstill. Hoch's attack was too complicated, with brigades not all in place at the time of the assault, with the result being that at least one of them was unable to influence the battle. Taponier's attack fizzled out. His men had taken too many losses on the first day and were unable to force the Galgenberg again. So they sort of never really made a progress here, I guess. Hoch would try again on the 30th, but for all general purposes, the battle was over. So the third day of the battle found the French in a difficult position. Brunswick had called for forces from the north to attack the French left flank. After several hours of combat, Hoch knew the battle was lost and gave the order of the army to retreat. So I guess it would be a French victory, although heavy casualties were taken. So I am planning to do this. We'll do just the first day and we'll see how far we get. Could be very interesting. So what do we have here? 93. So this would be to get an overview of the campaign. So this is what I went over in the first. It was the Battle of Valmy. So the Prussian offensive and the French response. This is when they went in to sort of quell the rebellion and they were stopped. And then we move on to the Allied coalition counterattack. Because since they lost that, they sort of counterattacked. I would imagine. One is Paris. Okay, so Paris is still here. Okay, so while the French are distracted with Holland, so they got embroiled in Holland here after that. The Austrians returned to Belgium and defeat them at Neerwinden. So they lost in Neerwinden. And then they have the Battle of Kaiserlautern. The Allies crossed the Rhine at Mainz and engaged Hoch's army at Kaiserlautern. So Hoch is the French one. Okay, after 3 days of intense combat, the French are defeated. Okay, so I'm just getting these names so confused. All right, so the French were actually defeated there at the Kaiserlautern. So we'll see if we can turn the thing there. So the French gained Belgium in 1792 to lose it in 1793. Dumier's army had to retreat while Hoch in the Rhineland was unable to take advantage of the Allied coalition that was more interested in national objectives than defeating the French. So it's sort of a standstill there. And then it goes on, the Allied offensive and the French response. So this was probably better. This is when the British landed and fought in Holland, now in modern Holland, basically. But this, the Kaiserlautern, let's give it a shot, man. So let's do the first day, and we'll see how it goes. I'm probably going to go back and forth on some of these, to know what I was supposed to be doing. So let's fire this one up. French, we're going to have an automatic on the Allies. So the rules of default, I would imagine. What do we got? We got victory points for leader casualties. Yeah, that's select this option. Yeah, that sounds good. Isolation rules. Select this option to cause isolation units to have their strength divided by 2 when defending in a melee. Also, isolated leaders receive no benefit from the commander's during command checks. When an isolated artillery unit fires, it may become low or out of ammo. The artillery unit will become resupplied when it becomes non-isolated. Sounds very good. Melee terrain sounds very good as well. You will get some modified defense. Yeah, that makes sense. Select this option to have artillery pass-through fire effects applied to infantry in column and square formations as well as infantry in line formation. Well, sounds good. Select this option to have the fire value affected by the total number of men in a target hex. When the target hex has more than 2/3 total stacking value of men in it, then the fire value against its units in this effect is multiplied by total value. Yeah, all right. Auto defense is good. Weak zone of control. So select this option to allow units to move 1 hex through enemy zone of control. Yeah, sounds good. Flank morale is good. Multiple cavalry, definitely. No opportunity fire against skirmishers, sounds good. No detached melees is good. Mixed organization, sounds good. Optional melee. Select this option to have separate melee phase added to each side's turn, yes. And we have strict line of sight, which adds more to the realism. That what your forces can see, you can see. All right, so let's do it. Boom. Reinforcements have arrived. Okay. Here we are. We're in the game, man. All right. French turn, 1 of 48. All right. Wow, let's have a look at the big picture here. So here we go. Here is the... here's our forces arriving. Let's examine the map a bit. So here's Kaiserlautern. Okay. We have some Prussian reinforced... These looks forts. Okay, they got some fortifications here. 100 pop for a victory location to take out these forts. This is going to be tough, man. We have Vogelweg, a village here, 50 points. So going to be our first stop in the southern attack. So to bear in mind, the French never actually managed to take this. So this is going to be interesting. All right, so here in the center we have this big forest that we're talking about, where these forces were trying to traverse. None of them have arrived yet. Here we have the Laure River. Otterbach sounds familiar. Sambach. All right, any other like victory locations? These are the victory locations here. Okay, so interesting. Do we have anything arriving right off the bat? So we have French Bontier. Let's put that up. Let's put all our units in the map. So here we go. We're going to be examining the units, man. This is going to be blind playthrough. And not a lot I know about French units, but it's going to be fun to explore this and see how this game works and how combat is evolved. Right. So what are we? It's 7 a.m. in the morning. It's 20th. Visibility is 2 hexes. It's dawn. Okay. Movement cost is 100%. Artillery fire is 100. Non-fire 100. Attack mode 0. Okay. So first of all, let's examine the parameter data. It's very important. Right. So we have the Battle of Kaiserlautern. It was a 2-day battle there. First side is French. Cavalry charge factor is 5. And cavalry charge multiplier is 3. So this is good to know. When I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what we got working with when we're going to charge with our cavalry. So time parameters, 7 o'clock is going to be dawn, at 6 o'clock is going to be dusk. There's 10-minute turns. Interesting. Night turn is 30 minutes. Okay. Stacking parameters. We have 1,800 men is a stacking max on one of these hexes here. Okay, we have 14 guns is the max. Cavalry is 600. Skirmish fractions, squadron fractions, and max valid skirmishers 225. Okay, I'm not really sure what that is. That could be the max stacking for skirmishers in a hex. Extended line values. 2 line infantry is 360 men, 3 line 540, artillery 8 guns. Okay. We have Prussian command distances. French commanders. Looks like the Prussians are going to be a bit more well drilled, I would imagine. Fatigue parameters. Alright, so the rest is just crunching numbers. So, all right, this is the most important. So this is what we're going to keep, 1,800, 600, and to keep track of the time there. So, all right. All right, Kaiserlautern. First day. Let's see. Let's go back to the description here. So the French decided to attack the Prussian Saxon army located west of Mannheim, commanded by Duke Brunswick. So this guy was famous. So he's going to be a tough opponent. Brunswick was operating with Austrians and had his division spread out. So it's going to be spread out there. And the south, Kaiserlautern, which lies along the main Staubach Mannheim. The French General Hoch devised a plan. Yeah, so he was going to the right wing, which consisted of Taponier's division, would strike Brunswick's forces west of Kaiserlautern. All right, Taponier. Here he is, the man of the hour. All right, zoom in. Oops. You have 3D as well. It's pretty good. I like it. Pretty good graphics. I still am not very familiar with playing with 3D, so I'm going to play like this. Right, so here we have Taponier. Right, so they have arrived 7 o'clock in the morning. What's the forces present? So he's the divisional commander. He has a rating of E and a leadership of C. Armée de Moselle. 3rd Division. Okay, so he's not that great. I mean, he's like sort of a mediocre commander. He's got some guns, 6-pounders. They have a range of 12. Armée de Moselle. 3rd Division. These guys are good, though. I mean, I would imagine the French artillery to be pretty badass. So they have quality B. Good guns there. All right. So there's a brigade commander here. We have, who's this guy? Gabe Voliere. He is a brigade commander. Rating D. E. Leadership C. All right. So he's not the best. So what's he commanding here? His whole brigade is here. Looks like the whole brigade is actually here. So what does this brigade consist of? There's some 108. We have a cavalry. First 10 cavalry. Army. Okay, they have swords. Heavy cavalry. Classed as heavy cavalry there. So these are going to be my shock troops, man. These are the ones going to smash in. 108 men. We have the 210 and the 310 and the 410. So there's quite a lot of cavalry here. 400 horses basically. And then we have the artillery, and here we have something interesting. What's this? We have skirmishers. Yeah, so it's going to be skirmishers. Going to be very important in this era of warfare. So we're going to have to get into the skirmishers. So skirmishers are basically very light infantry that moves around, have high mobility, can move through obstructed terrain without any problems. They're basically there to sort of screen enemy forces, harass them, and used in the front for the more meaty, big formations, I would imagine. So it's going to be tough to try to utilize them in a good way. I'm not very used to using skirmishers a lot, so it's going to be a very learning experience for me to get that going, man. So there's 4 different kinds of skirmish units here. We have the Bontreurs. Quality C, man. Okay. Musket 2 range, 3 line rank. Okay. So they're not part of something. They're sort of independent units moving around. I would imagine maybe they won't get detached even. What's his command radius here? So he has a very small command radius, man. What about the commander here? Taponier himself has decent. So we have the 3rd Louvre, 4th Louvre. So these sort of belong together, I would imagine. And we have something called Jameps. Kep. All right. Okay, nothing else. What is arriving here? All right, we're going to have some forces arriving. 710. Probably we have Lombard. Okay. He is a brigade commander, I would imagine, as well. Some more guns, 8-pounders. We have our supply train. We have Rhine et Loire. Ligne. We have main infantry. This looks like light infantry. Okay. We'll see when they pop up. They're going to pop up next turn, apparently. And then we won't have anything until 10 a.m. And then we'll start getting some forces arriving in the north. The Moselle Legion. Okay. We have Olivier. We have cavalry, heavy cavalry with artillery. Sounds good. We have some more. Jeanville. We have the divisional commander of Amber. He was something, said something about him in the description here. We have another brigade commander here. And we have something called Haute. Looks like another force there with some artillery there. Okay. Very interesting. Let's go back to the description. What did it say about... So we have Taponier's division there, yeah. All right. While Ambert's division far to the north crossed the Laure River near Hirschhorn. Oh yeah, there's Hirschhorn. Okay, so they're going to be crossing there. Interesting. And move south to Katzeiler and attack the Prussian right flank. Katzeiler, where is that? Here's Katzeiler. Okay, we have a little village there. Here's another. So probably they're sort of advancing like this. And they're going to be probably we're going to stumble on our first Prussian units here, and then we're going to try and get this, I would imagine. Attack the Prussian right flank. Hoch would command the center. I wonder where Hoch is. So Hoch might not be represented in this battle. I don't see him arriving anywhere. So it said he didn't actually take part in any of the action here. So we probably will not see Hoch. He's probably, let's zoom out a bit more. He's probably arriving here then somewhere. And he had to sort of detour around the forest. He probably arrived here then and then would have fought me over this Prussian right flank there. All right. So now we have a plan. Let's dive into the game and start duking it out and see how it goes. Okay. Let's make a plan. Right, so we have a village. We don't know anything. We have 2 visibility range, so we can't see much. What we want to do is get our forces up. This looks like a good place to form up a force and then advance. All right, so let's get our heavy how far can they move? So, okay. I have no idea where the Prussians are. I mean, they could have like skirmishes and stuff and harassing units somewhere. This is probably defended by something. So obviously we don't want to keep our cavalry in these unobstructed terrain. We want to use them. I mean, these fields are fine. So these orchards, they have a disorder. So our forces will get disordered. And definitely buildings are bad for us. Okay. And it seems like the average range of a musket is about 2 hexes. So got to keep that in mind. All right, let's move out. Let's get... He's actually in charge of this whole thing here. So we only have our skirmishes here. Okay. All right, let's get the cavalry out. So obviously different ways to move your units. There are these sort of quick commands. You can use Control and Alt keys to move columns and stuff. I myself prefer to use drag and drop, or you can also, if I select this cavalry, I could just sort of right click anywhere here. That unit will move to that position. So let's get our cavalry up and form up here, and then we'll decide what to do with the heavy cavalry. So I'm just going to right click there, get our old commander. He's going to be moving there. So there's 600 horses can stack. Let's get our cavalry up here, the heavy cavalry. Here we have Taponier himself. What about the guns? So the guns can move that far. Get them up there. Get Taponia moving with the guns. Right, so here is all our skirmishers. So I'll just sort of move them along the road. Get them forward. Like that. And that would be the end of my move. I don't have anything else, so let's just end it here. So let's call it Kaiserlautern. Sure. Alright, so we have a melee phase. Nothing to melee, so let's just end it. And now it's the Prussians. We don't know what they're doing. Wow, it's going to be a fun battle to try out. All right, that was a fast one. So they have a melee phase. Our reinforcements have arrived. Good. All right, let's get them on the board. What's arrived? We have French Lombard. All right, here's my main meat, I would say. My meat forces. So we still have Taponia in charge, I would imagine. Yep. So here are my forces. Wow, we're going to have to look at these guys. What kind of commander is he? Rating E, leadership C. So, not the best. 881 men, quality C. First Ling. Can deploy. That means they can, I think they can actually deploy skirmishers. These are my main men here. First Ling. 3rd Division there. Okay, 3 rank line, muskets. We have another big chunk here, 852 men. These are light. Okay, so these were the ones I probably should use as skirmishers. But I do have a bunch of skirmishers here. I'm not really sure if those skirmishers... Okay, those skirmishers are actually part of the cavalry. That's interesting. They're actually detached now. Okay. So the skirmishers are going to be working with the horses. That's interesting. Okay. What else? We have another big... We have the 2nd Ling. And we have 3rd Manche NG. Okay. Is that National Guard? I don't know what that stands for. We have something else. 7th Rhone et Loire. 716 men, man. Big chunks. Quality D, so these guys are not as good. We have 8 guns, 8 pounders, and supplies. Cool. All right. So let's continue deploying here. Let's get our cavalry. Is visibility still... Okay, visibility is improving. All right. We have 4 hexes now. It's 10 minutes past 7. So maybe form up the cavalry. I don't want to get the cavalry moving through here. I guess I could move the cavalry. This is going to be very tough, though. This could be defended here. This looks like a better place to advance. We also have some... What's this? Paths. What if we get that force up here? Maybe we can get that. Garten. Line cavalry. We're going to have cavalry disorder, though. Even though they're moving along the path? Not sure. Let's actually move our force. The Voliere. Let's get his brigade moving. I want to try and sneak. I want to send my infantry up here and fight. But I want to get these guys. Let's just get them closer to the action. For now. The old cab going there. Get the old guns. Alright, so we want to get a good firing position of this village. We don't know. That could be good to fire into the village. Get our artillery up here. Maybe we want to just try and move it in that general direction. It's very dangerous though. Probably get it here. Move across here maybe. Let's get my divisional commander there. So these skirmishes are actually part of that. We could send them forward here a bit. Scout. They're going to be detached. Okay. Alright, let's get this main force moving along the road here with the Lombard. Alright, we're going to have to deploy some skirmishes and stuff later on. We have some more light forces. We're going to get those guns in there. Get some supplies. Looking good. Okay. What kind of visibility do we have here? So we can't just basically see something there. Let's extend it. We have a melee phase, and let's go to turn. I think this battle will go pretty fast. We have a couple of recording sessions. Okay, we still can't see anything. There's a melee phase, and there's a French turn. Okay, so now visibility is 6 hexes. Oh, look at that. We spotted something. We have an unknown force of 600 plus men moving in column formation. Interesting. Okay. Could harass them. We have some skirmishes here. Maybe position my cavalry a bit. Just get them in a sort of a striking position. Maybe face downwards a bit. There's about 200 horses there. Have them sort of positioned to be able to charge down. The 600 men though. Alright, let's harass these guys a bit with our skirmishers. They have a range of 2. Might want to get a skirmish screen going here. So we don't want to... The guns... Where are these guns? Where are they part of? Which one? They're part of that. Interesting. Okay. Probably should have kept my guns up with my horses. It's looking very dangerous here. I'm going to move my skirmishers in front of my horses, maybe? Let's get them somewhat positioned like that. Let's get my guns. This would be good ambush point though, to have guns firing here. You know what? I might actually deploy my guns. Face unlimbered. Front 100%. That's good. 8 guns. Let's keep them sort of... If he moves in here, our artillery can open up. Let's get Lombard's forces moving here. Let's get the infantry. We want to start setting them up. Let's actually put one force here. So we probably cannot deploy. No. So let's get him here somewhere. These light forces could move up. Let's get some light forces on every flank. Let's get these guys moving in the middle. Let's get our guns moving in. Supplies. Cool. Anything arriving? No. Okay. And I don't think I can fire at anything. No. Okay, let's just see what the Prussians do. So he's moving something out here. That's interesting. So we do have some skirmishers lined up. We can start harassing him. We have cannons facing that way. Let's see what happens. Melee, no melee. Alright, so here we go. Allied turn. Let's see what he does. Okay, he pulled back. Okay. He has a melee face. Nothing will happen. Okay, we can see things. We have actually visibility 12 now. What's going on here? Whoa! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Could be up to 5 to 6, 700 horses arriving here. Looking kind of light. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. Are they hussars or something? Don't know. What's this? I see. He seems to be buggering out. Just look look at this gun here. Okay, that gun can probably we could probably fire some rounds on those guys. No, we can't. He's probably out of range. 12 range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They should be in range, but they're detached. Maybe we can't fire with them because they're detached. Fire unit is not facing target. I would think we're facing them, but maybe not. Okay. So there's cavalry force arriving. Very interesting. Well, we're gonna have to try and figure something out. I do want to be careful with the skirmishes, though, because I think cavalry, if cavalry charges skirmishers, they will be an automatic kill. They just slaughter them basically. So you want to keep these guys somewhat protected. You know, you don't want to get them charged with any cavalry. So there's a big cavalry force arriving here, man. Okay. So what I want to be doing is I'm probably going to set up my cavalry force with my skirmishers here. Get this gun up there. Form up my infantry and start advancing on Vogelweg. And try to capture it. See how that goes. We have quite a lot of infantry here. And we have some artillery support. Alright. We're going to pick that action up in the next part now. Hope you guys are going to be enjoying this. The Battle of Kaiserlautern, the first day. And we're going to explore and see how good the French forces are. So I want to thank you for watching, man. And I'll see you guys in the next part. Have a good one.